Hello, my lovelies. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a few reviews today, and I hope you enjoy them. So recently, I'm going to say a lot in this video, just letting you know. Recently, I bought a bunch of stuff through Krylon, and I've been considering adding Krylon Cosmetics, some of the cosmetics products that they offer to my student kits because I'm trying to upgrade the student kits and I want to find like a good choice. I spoke to Makeup Forever and they offer some nice things, but I wasn't 100% in love, especially for the price point, and it would throw my student kits up to too high of a level for me to be able to do it. So I was considering Krylon, and I may still do some Krylon products. However, I haven't been entirely happy with the products I've been getting that I've been trying. So I've tried a few things. I tried their mascara, and I tried their color corrector as just a green color corrector, and I've tried their foundation. I've been playing with their lip products. So far, I'm playing with their lipsticks. I love Krylon brushes. I do have a few of those that I'm absolutely in love with and that I use all the time. So I really like Krylon brushes. And so I've been trying foundation, and I tried two different kinds of foundation. I tried cream foundation, and I tried a liquid kind of lightweight foundation. So I'm going to demo it on me and explain why I didn't like it. So give me a second to get my hair out of the way and we'll get started. Okay, my hair is out of the way. So first we're going to start with the HD Micro Foundation Mattifying Liquid by Krylon. And it came out a little, you can see, it comes out a little dry and kind of spitty, and I don't know if it's because maybe it was expired or old when I got it. I'm not sure, but it didn't come out, I wasn't impressed with how it came out. However, when you start using it on the brush, it gets really nice and matte, creamy and kind of whipped feeling, and so I was like, oh, cool. This is not my exact color, so I do apologize. I didn't buy one light enough for me. But, so I'm probably not going to put it on my face. But when I started using it on a client, I was like, oh, this spreads really nice. And see, it spreads out really quick and really nice, and does have a very nice lightweight. And it works into the skin really good. I still think it's a little too dark for me. I might be able to try it. It doesn't look too bad. Maybe because it's sheer. We'll see. It's very yellow for me, and as you can tell, I am not very yellow. So when I was putting it on, yeah, but it goes on really soft and sheer, and I liked that. It didn't have a ton of coverage, and see, you're not seeing a ton of coverage over blemishes, and I don't like heavy makeup, so I was like, okay, that's fine. It's kind of more of a tint. So my real problem with this one was it seemed really oily. Like the more I would put it on and work it onto the skin, if I did in any way a little more of a full coverage. See, I'm doing a super sheer coverage. You can still see pink through it. You can still see a little of my dark circles. You can still see my freckles through it. So, I mean, I'm doing a really nice and sheer coverage. If you do a super lightweight sheer coverage, this works great. But when you're doing that sheer of a coverage, you're not getting really any coverage. You're just kind of evening out skin tone. And sometimes I actually need coverage for my clients. They don't all come in with, smooth, beautiful, fabulous skin. I wish they did. They don't, and that's because we're all human. Not everyone has amazing skin. And everyone has different. Like with me, I need a little more coverage if I'm doing photos and stuff because I get really red. It's mainly not for photos. Mainly it's when I go drinking. I get really red. So if I do heavy coverage on this is definitely not my color. But if I buff it in, which is how I would buff it in with my clients, but it's really oily feeling. Like it doesn't feel like a foundation. See, and that was the problem because as I started to try to build up and get a little bit of coverage with it, it would start cracking and splitting almost instantly. And it split over the nose, it split around the eyes, and I was like, and this was on someone who had um, normal skin, like not oily, and I hadn't over prepped them or over primed them. I had just done a really mild moisturizer without any oils in it. So as you can see, I don't really look like I have coverage. I just have a slightly different tint on this side because this was yellow toned and I am not yellow toned. So it didn't really offer any coverage. And when I tried to do a heavier coverage, it split and cracked. I'm like, okay, this, nope, nope. So I was really disappointed because as it first came out, I was like, oh, that's nice and, whipped and stuff. But I mean, this is definitely not for full coverage. This is more for HD techniques, film and TV and photo where you're wanting to just kind of even out the skin tone. So I might give this all over to my friend who does more film work, and she does more HD and stuff. She doesn't need as much coverage. I deal with brides. They need more coverage while still being lightweight. This doesn't give enough coverage for the kind of photography they're doing. If I was doing HD and stuff, you'd want to be able to see skin and blemish. You just want a more even skin. So there's different techniques, different products for either. So I was disappointed for my needs with this foundation. I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to work for me. So, okay, strike one. But that was, the first thing I was disappointed with. So then I switched over to the cream foundation and was like, okay, this will work better because cream is a little more full coverage. I should be good. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so first off, this is not part of their Dermacolor line, which their Dermacolors are crazy, crazy pigmented. They're for coverage of like severe blemish or tattoos. They're like really heavy duty, and they tend to be even heavier than I want. Because I don't need full heavy, heavy, heavy coverage because I do more natural light and we're doing, bridal. It's a little more softer. But I need more coverage than, say, the HD, like, airbrush ones. So these ones are Microfinancing Foundation Cream, and this is one of the palettes, and it had a nice selection of colors, and I was like, oh, cool. It's a nice creamy foundation. And I like a little bit of cream to the foundation because I do it lightweight and sheer and do more matte makeup for long wear. And because I do more matte for long wear, I sometimes do need a little more oil in the foundation than maybe if I was doing studio and not trying to get it to last 18 hours. So I was fine with the oiliness of it because the RCMA that I use is also very oily. And I was fine with that. And so this one, it's nice and creamy, and as you see, it's pretty. It oils really fast. It's not quite as, it's still, like the RCMA is very oily as well, but it's a little less oily and a little less creamy. It takes a little longer to warm up on the skin, whereas this turned into like instantly liquid. So I was like, okay, well maybe I can use less to. So with this one, you do get more full coverage. See, I'm definitely getting a heavier coverage, just like the first swipe, which is fine. Sometimes you want that. And if I buff it out, you're still having some decent coverage. And so I was really at first like extremely happy. I'm like, it goes on really smooth and really nice, and see, it glides on really nice, and I get some nice little coverage out of it. So I was like, woo, hot damn, this is great, right? Yeah, within 10 minutes it was splitting over the nose. It was creasing no matter how much I set it. It turned into an oily, hot mess as soon as the body started heating up. And so I was like, well, maybe I need to use less. So I used it on 3 different clients. And one of them, she had a photo shoot that day after, because I only use it at trial runs because I'm like, it's just a trial. I can let them know that we're trying a particular foundation and we have alternatives if we don't like the wear of it. So it's testing it out in a live situation, but not in an urgent situation. But I did have one trial run where she had a photo shoot um, that afternoon, and by the end of the trial run, by the time I had gotten her contouring and her eyes and everything done, she was all split across the nose and she had creased up really bad and was splitting over here in her T-zone. And she was not she was another of my clients who had more normal skin. She wasn't oily. I hadn't over prepped her or over primed her because she didn't need anything. She had good skin and she was already getting. So I was able to rescue it a little bit on that client, but I was really unhappy with it. And then another client, the next one I used it on, so that was the first one, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe. So I used it on the second one. That second client, even though I told her that we can modify the foundations and everything, and she seemed to get the concept that we were wanting to see how it wore, and if it didn't work, we would be switching formulas and switching foundations, which most of them are aware that, I make it very clear that you can modify everything in makeup can be fixed. Everything can be modified, especially when it comes to the formula you use on your foundation. Well, she was so unhappy with the foundation coverage because it split so bad with the Krylon. And again, she was another person who had some normal skin. She ended up canceling and demanding a refund and stuff because she was so unhappy. And I will let you know that pissed me off. Not at her at all. She has a right to say, I don't like this. I was pissed at Krylon. I was pissed off because I'm like, that's messed up. So this foundation can't go heavy at all. It cannot do full coverage. Like, I put it on myself and I buffed most of it out, and you get a little bit of coverage, just kind of, but you can't actually wear it as full coverage at all. At all. You can't even wear it as medium coverage or if it's a light full coverage. You could do it as like a sheer tint to your skin, but I'm like, that's fucked up. So I was really, really not happy. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about in this video that I was not happy with was the Ultra Makeup Base by Krylon, and it is their green corrector. And normally I use a very pigmented one. I actually really like the LA Girl one. And so this one, you are to use it, but see, it comes out very liquidy, and there's not enough pigment for me to tint a foundation to get a base. But and I don't necessarily, I tried it directly on the skin, and it didn't have enough pigment to actually tone down any redness. And so I'm like, what is the point of this product? You can do it over the whole face, but it's not actually going to do anything because there's no fucking pigment in it. So there was no pigment in it, so I'm like, that's a waste of product. I can't blend it with foundation. I can't do it as a face base because it actually didn't work. And the only thing it did do was lighten the freaking face. It gave a weird tone when I took pictures just to see what it would look like. It gave a weird flash. So that I don't like to do green just by itself because it can give a weird tone, but it didn't give a green tone. It just was like, it's too pale. So I would only be able to use it like on albino people, and even then it wouldn't really correct any red. So I'm like, this was a waste of product. So I'm not happy with Krylon right now. The mascara I tried, it immediately, no matter what I did, and it was a waterproof. I bought a waterproof. And no, this one wasn't waterproof. It was just a normal one, right? But normal ones should wear decently unless you're crying. They shouldn't just smear with daily wear. I didn't even have full makeup on, so it's not like my foundation was getting oily and anything. I was just eye makeup. And throughout the entire day, every time I looked in the mirror, I would have smears of mascara all under my eye. And I'm like, what the hell? I've never had a normal mascara because I don't wear waterproof daily. I don't because it's just a little, it's more than I need. I've never had a mascara that smeared just daily wear. Just walking around town. No crying, no sweating, nothing. And I continually had dark circles. I had smudges of mascara the whole time. The whole day I was having to clean, clean, clean. And I'm like, this is the worst mascara I've ever used. So at this point, I am really highly doubting I will be adding Krylon to my student kits, which pisses me off on many levels because I really want to add to the student kits because I really would like to upgrade them before next year. So anyways, that's the end of my rant, my Krylon rant. I'm not happy, but oh well, live and learn, right? I figured I'd share what I'd learned and get it off my chest because it's been irritating me. Until next time, everyone. Talk to you later.